All right, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? I am finally back at home base from the Pro Play Tour Invitational. Today, we're going over the top 16 breakdown. Man, what an awesome weekend it was. The tournament was cool. PPG did a good job running the tournament. But, man, the opportunity to reveal to you guys the reboot leaders. Thank you so much again, Bandai. I know I said it a bunch in the last video, but thank you so much, guys. And thank you guys all for the love and support. You guys came out, watched the video, gave me a ton of awesome feedback. I really love all you guys, man, and meeting you guys at the Pro Play Tour. All you out there that love the channel, get good help from the channel. You guys really make it all worth it. With that being said, we're getting into this video. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a video. If you guys want to support the channel, lots of ways you can do that. Number one, down below in the description, we got the Patreon and the Crossworld TCG merchandise store. And finally, guys, we want to see you at the Daily Mac Tournament of Power. This is pretty much the last event of this format as far as I am aware. And now, guys, we're in full Set 9 mode. It's time to get ready for Set 9. And Daily Mac's Tournament of Power is going to be the first event you guys can play Set 9 in. We want to see you there. I believe in this tournament. Let's get right into the breakdown. So this breakdown, I do think will leak a bit into Set 9. And I'll kind of talk about that as we go through the video more. But so for the breakdown, we had 5 Piccolo, 4 Surge Goku, 3 Surge Broly, 2 Starter Baby, 1 Red Baby, and 1 Yellow Broly. So a few things here that missed top cut off the bat. No Janemba, no Hachiyak. So just going back to last week's event in Chicago, there were Hachiyak and Janemba, 2 very, very strong control decks, and they seem to have been pushed out of this event. Now, there was no real shortage of Janemba, no real shortage of Hachiyak. I did play against Hatch at the event. I saw plenty of it. I saw plenty of Janemba, but they seem to have been pushed out of this top cut. So I think we're seeing a bit more of a different type of control taking place. That is to say, Piccolo and Surge Broly play a bit more of a hand control, which we haven't really seen hand control do so well in a format in a long time. Like the last time it was probably this dominant, or at least this strong of a showing in top cut, was probably Cell Chain back in like Set 2, Set 3, Set 4 days. Much more often we'd be seeing stuff like board control, stuff like battle control, things like Janemba, things like Hachiyak. But I would also classify Surge Goku as like a pivotal deck where it can go mid-range to aggro to control when it needs to, especially depending on build. Like I think Tricolor Surge Goku is a bit more of a control deck than like Red Yellow Goku. I think that's more of like a mid-range slash aggro deck pivot. Then you've got your Starter Baby, which in my opinion is full on aggro. You can sit back on a Pocket Grudge grade 8, but not all the lists were playing it. And we'll get through the rest of the top cut as we move along. So firstly, we got to talk about Piccolo Gohan. This is the deck that took the event. Now, what was crazy was last weekend at Chicago, just 1 week ago, it really seemed like Surge Goku could do whatever it wanted in the Piccolo matchup. Like, it really seemed like such a bad matchup for Piccolo. And of course, Surge Goku went on to win that event. But now, those Piccolo lists were really focusing hard on resolving Gogeta 7, you know, bringing that guy on the board, removing the Surge Goku hand. But Surge Goku didn't really care about that. And I can tell you that from firsthand experience. You know, I played against the Gogeta 7 Piccolo deck in Top Cut, my teammate Frisco. The thing with that is Surge Goku can play around Gogeta 7 very, very well by dropping the Sand Instinct Son Goku to the drop area. So once they rip your hand, you're going to be able to refuel. You have Chomp the Trickster, so you refuel right there, and you force the Gogeta 7 into rest mode, so it can't harm you that turn. And if you stay at a relatively high life total, like 6 to 5 life, that Gogeta 7 is not going to matter because they're going to attack you. You're going to draw a few cards back. And if you're at that 5 life, you can always surge and remove the triple strike. So I just talked about all that to basically tell you guys that these Piccolo decks really transitioned away from the Gogeta 7 build. The 2 Piccolo lists that did the best in this top cut, the first and third place lists, did not play Gogeta 7, nor did they play Victory Strike. So that is really, really cool to me. I mean, firstly, Piccolo Victory Strike was one of the scariest decks going into the room as a Surge Goku player. It was a deck that grew in popularity very, very quickly because Surge leaders don't inherently self-awaken. Victory Strike seemed to be the way to go for Piccolo because you could just sit back, gain passive advantage, see your Victory Strike, you could scry for it, and then just go in from there. But what's really cool is neither of those lists were the ones that came in first or third place. So it kind of goes to show you that you don't have to pay to win a Victory Strike. I think that's awesome to say. And you don't have to play cheese like Gogeta 7 to do well either. You can kind of play your own mid-rangey type of hand control game like these leaders played. And another thing with Gogeta 7, what I really think, like I guess more of an analytical approach is Gogeta 7, tapping out for Gogeta 7 on either 5 or 7 energy is highly energy inefficient, and I think that that's what really put these Piccolo lists over the top. So the first place list was playing the Twisted Justice Fuse Zamasu. It was also playing the three drop Goku Black from the draft box that drops this thing for 3 energy. That is way more energy efficient than Gogeta 7. Now Gogeta 7 might have a more powerful effect, but like I said, Surge Goku can pretty easily live through that. Where I think the way to beat Surge Goku nowadays, which I think this Piccolo deck pretty much proved, was to go really wide on the board with really big beaters. So if you look at Jonathan Rodriguez's list, he was playing Twisted Justice Fuse Zamasu, like I said. He was also playing Gogeta 5 drop, the 25k blue battle card, double striker, that bounces 2 battle cards back to the bottom of the deck and draws 2. So he just wanted to build an overwhelming board that the Surge Goku leader would eventually have to waste all of its plus 10ks to deal with and win from there. We saw that in the finals, and the finals was so crazy to commentate, by the way. Luckily I got to commentate the finals, and there were so many points in the matchup where the favor just pivoted. Like, we thought that Rios was in control with Surge Goku, and then at just one turn of the momentum, Jonathan Rodriguez was in control with Piccolo. It was such a cool matchup to watch, and I think it is pretty 50-50, but these new Piccolo lists have definitely evolved to help beat Surge Goku. That's really cool to see. Next up, again, Surge Goku 4 in top cut. What's really cool was I was not the only red-yellow Surge Goku in this top cut. There were 2 tricolors and there were 2 red-yellows. I was one of them. And yeah, I think, you know, Surge Goku probably can evolve from here. I think we can actually see a revolving door where Piccolo evolves to beat Surge Goku evolves to beat Piccolo. There's been some talks about evolving into a familial bond strategy. Of course, you are a red leader, so you can play familial bonds. That's a really cool archetype to explore, but these lists were more of the same in terms of tricolor, pretty similar to Rob Rietz and Colin Kaiser's lists from Chicago. And all the lists, by the way, are on the Pro Play Tour Dragon Ball Super Facebook page. So if you want to see the deck lists, I will link them down below to that Facebook page. But guys, that was pretty much what we saw from Surge Goku. Surge Goku was the deck to beat at this event. Obviously coming off a win at Chicago. First, second, and third place were all Surge Goku at Chicago. So this was definitely a deck to beat. A lot of decks that came to this event were geared to beat it. And I think that's one of the reasons why this deck wasn't able to pull out the win in the finals. People just kind of knew it was coming. There wasn't too much innovation. And really, I think the lists were really strong. Like I said, familial bonds is an avenue to be explored, but I guess we'll see that innovation. And I'm going to talk about it in my deck profile that you guys will see tomorrow, but I really do think this leader is going to see play in set 9 just because of how powerful it is. The plus 10k for 2 turns and the negating all skills is incredibly powerful. That being said, I also think Piccolo will easily see play next format as well. Next up, 3 Surge Broly in this top cut. This deck was the sleeper pick for sure. I was actually really scared of this deck going into this tournament. I mean, Red Green has gotten tons of great support from set 8, and Broly's Swift Executioner is an insane card, guys. This card's actually really hard to find right now. Not all the lists in top cut were playing it, but Rob Rietz's list was playing for this card, and I actually really like it. So it's a 4-drop 20k, very similar to Bardock Raider's Warcry. It comes in for 2 energy as an activate battle, so a little bit different than the combo area in terms of Raider's Warcry. This comes in a little bit sooner, and when you play it, if your leader's a Broly, you minus 10,000 a battle card, and then the auto says choose 1 card in your life, add it to your hand. When you play this card, you can choose 1 random card in your opponent's hand and place it in the drop area. So that's where Surge Broly kind of gets its hand control from. Then you also have Broly Tragedy Foretold, which basically controls your opponent's combo area. This is such a cool deck. I mean, this is essentially Raider's Warcry for red green, but it's a 20k crit instead of a 20k double strike, so you can actually deny your opponent resources. I think that's really awesome. SS3 Scramble was giving people a ton of headaches this weekend. Again, I said it last weekend, that SCR is incredibly strong. The Broly ability to either KO any threat or just go in on a giant double strike. Another really awesome play, guys, with Surge Broly, you're able to God Strike Beerus from the drop area. That's how you guys can win the mirror match going against a Kaioken, because a lot of people said, oh, you just jam Kaioken, first player to get Kaioken wins the game inherently, because, you know, you don't have a Chomp the Trickster, you don't have a UI Goku as red green, but this leader can actually combo with God Strike Beerus in the drop area to remove triple strike. That is so cool. I thought that was a really awesome innovation this weekend that red green Broly came out with. Next up, guys, 2 variations of Baby. We had Yellow Starter Baby taking 2 spots in the top cut and 1 Red Baby taking a spot in the top cut. Shout out to Silk Michael coming all the way from the UK and making top 16 with his Red Baby. He is a Red Baby pro. He's been playing that deck for formats and he just came out to the US, showed us what was what, and made top 16. Yellow Baby, I talked about it last week in terms of how the mighty have fallen, but I actually do think it was a really good pick this weekend. But I think the main deck had to be a bit different, and we saw that in the top cut. I think Baby had to be as aggressive as it is, but I also think it had to be able to pivot to a bit more of a mid-rangey build, because you can't really just all-in aggro Surge Goku. It just doesn't work that way. Surge Goku handles your Heartfelt Plea combo very well. So in those types of matchups, you need to be able to sit on a Piccolo Grudge grade 8 Baby and just occur value over time. That and the 8-drop Baby Vengeful Blow put in a lot of work for Baby players this weekend. If you guys watch the stream, get your Baby popped by Beerus, bring in the 8-drop, go immediately into another Baby. That was a really cool play to see all weekend. And finally, guys, one yellow Broly in the top cut. My boy Miguel got in top 8 with this. Congratulations to him. It was blue yellow Broly good stuff without button, and he played it incredibly well. I actually lost to him in top 16, and without button you would think this deck takes a big hit, but he played it incredibly well, being very passive with his energy, knowing exactly when to be reactive. And of course, you're playing Bardock Raider's Warcry. It's the best card in the deck essentially. But also, Miguel made some insane plays against me that I want to talk about. He was of course using Goku Black Unforeseen Darkness to fix his hands, untap energy so you can then Senzu Bean and go into Bardock Raider's Warcry. But he had 3 Desperate Measures in the sideboard, and he was obviously countering my topos with that, but he would then use it to bounce the Goku Black back to his hand. So the next turn he could play the Goku Black again. It's a 1-drop 15k beater that draws 2 and pitches 1. That was just awesome value. So I felt like that play line was really important to mention to you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little tidbit, that little inside scoop into my top 16 matchup. But guys, that's going to be the top cut breakdown. I mean, I think pretty much all the decks we've seen here are going to be very, very playable in set 9. Like, set 9 is proven to be very, very powerful, but I do think that all these decks can pretty much stand up. It's going to take a little bit of innovation. Like I said, with Surge Goku, you might want to go a different route. I'm really happy with the Piccolo routes these guys took. Red Green Broly seems really strong. Baby still seems really strong going into the next format. And Yellow Broly I think will be a really good green yellow deck with Zerata of only untapping Broly BRs. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you next time.